This time I'm talking about Screwball, a documentary about a naive Floridian tanning enthusiast who accidentally blew apart the world of baseball by pursuing a $4,000 debt. You're Major League Baseball! You're not the law!
Of course, my cocaine bill was $5,000, $6,000 a month.
You're still talking about $60K a month. How could you possibly do that much drugs?
Frankly, this is a documentary I watched out of desperation. It doesn't sound like something I would like. It's about this baseball sport, of which I know nothing. It has lots of dramatic reenactment. And it's on Netflix. But Screwball is a great example of creativity in storytelling. Also, Porter Fisher. You see, the reenactments directly follow the words of the film's interviewees and are acted out by children, who never speak in their own voices, just the voice of whoever happens to be telling their story.
Let me do the pamphlets and the business cards, and let me show you what I can do. No, you don't have to do that. And I was like, no, I want to. I have a little bit of money now. And he goes, oh, you have a little bit of money.
This bizarre and often hilarious take on a sleazy crime story doesn't just appeal to me because of the kid acting and chortle-worthy editing, but if you watch the clips I just showed you and it doesn't appeal, I'm probably not going to change your mind. Behind these things, there's a compelling story, memorable characters, and a window into high-level and deliberately overlooked corruption. So, now the spoilers start, although if you're familiar with the world of baseball, you probably know where things are going. The story features many real people who could be straight out of a cliched work of fiction. You've got the mid-level gangsters, the wildly narcissistic baseball star, and the dour-faced ex-cop who got caught shaking someone down, someone who turned out to be an undercover cop, and who comes into play as a black-marked health inspector. But really, Screwball follows the stories of two men, Tony Bosch and Porter Fisher.
Where do I start with Porter Fisher? I don't know where to start with that guy. All right, he came across almost like an abandoned child.
I walked in the door to Boca Body, and there's Tony sitting behind a desk. He had a white lab coat that said Dr. Tony Bosch. He had a stethoscope around his neck. Yeah, I assumed he was a doctor.
Tony Bosch, not a doctor, was at one time supplying thousands of people, including professional baseball players, with steroid programs, in a way that could defeat drug testing procedures. Porter Fisher was and is, well, the film calls him a sucker, although he's not really a sucker you'd want to upset, and upset him Tony Bosch certainly did. Operating, for some reason, out of a tanning salon, Bosch finds his life on the skids and his doping empire crumbling, and through his business manager, sort of borrows $4,000 from Fisher, a regular client of the tanning salon.
Okay.
If you can't understand the deal that Porter and Tony Bosch made for $4,000, it's probably because the deal doesn't make any sense.
Despite paying $12,000 a month in rent at the time, Bosch didn't feel able to pay this money back. Not paying Fisher his money back prompts Fisher to at first terrify Bosch, and then, because he's still hanging out at the tanning salon, where he spends all day, and in the tanning salon's offices, to take some of Bosch's files. These files, of course, turn out to be Bosch's black book of clients. Oh dear. So, for some unfathomable reason, even though Porter Fisher now had massive leverage over Bosch and his highly illegal activities, Bosch still didn't pay him. So Porter took the client list to the press and, as the documentary shows us, there was pretty wide fallout. I leave you to discover the rest, but needless to say, it makes both Major League Baseball and Florida out to be riddled with corruption. In the nicest possible way, of course. I mean, at least it's not raining. It would have been easy, even with a limited budget, to pack in a far greater number of talking heads. In Screwball, there are very few. No influencers, no onlookers, simply the people involved, and the film is better for allowing us to get to know them. It's a small point, but it helps make a movie that is really focused on the story it wants to tell and how.
Oogie goes to Alex and says, give me $10,000. And Alex goes, I thought it was only $4,000, $5,000. He says, give me $10,000. I could work with $10,000.
But as well as being obviously silly and undoubtedly laughing at almost everyone involved, Screwball is a very tightly packed, sparsely padded story. It never feels rushed, it gets straight to the point. It almost feels like I wish it was 2 hours longer, but I'm glad and somewhat surprised it isn't. So, good on you Netflix for not making this 6 hours long. Except Netflix didn't make this, so... Good on you Netflix for having something worth watching. That's it. Thanks very much for watching. Porter, if you are watching this, give me a call. I would love to make your biopic at cost. Alright, thanks very much. See you next time. Bye for now. You coming up, Bobby Jane?
Your anti-doping program is nothing but a sham, but you're trying to push me and force me to give you information, and who the fuck are you? You're a private organization. You're MLB. You're a fucking sport. You're not the law.